we push them. We still try to push them. I mean, like I said, they didn't want to do that Devil and Angel spot, but we just kept pushing them because honestly, that was the first step kind of outside of the realm of reality. That this last spot where they're kind of saying the line, people didn't really want to do that because they're like the sacred line. But honestly, it's this part of the culture now. I mean, we have all these clips. They collect clips of when people say it. You know, so we have like a 5-minute reel of just people in the public eye saying what happens wherever stays wherever. You know, we have President or we have Laura Bush saying what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You know, and so it's like we wanted to have fun with that because I mean, if you don't poke fun at yourself, then everybody else is going to eventually start poking fun at you, and then your campaign's dead. So we're hoping that this is a way to kind of help push things and make it a little fresher. Anybody else?
So how does that work? You're still running the What Happens in Vegas campaign, and you're also running the Your Vegas Issue
Yep.
campaign?
Yeah, because we view them as entirely separate. Because, like I said, the one is kind of this product thing, kind of educating. It's actually the way they scheduled the run is like What Happens Here Stays Here stopped in December, I think, and then Vegas is showing ran up until I think maybe March or April, and then they kick What Happens Here Stays Here back in. So it's like they'll only have like one of these spots out at a time. So you'll see one of these spots on the air for about 16 weeks, and then they'll stop that one and run another one, and they don't have multiple spots on at the same time. The client, I mean, honestly, for the recognition that we get for the spots, they don't run that much. I mean, people see them, but they're kind of more aware of them than they are like see. We're not beating you to death with like Bud Light spots every commercial break because we can't afford it. The client can't anyway. So. That's about it. But yeah, I don't just my print book's around here, and I can put anything else up if you guys want to take a look at it. I'm just starting to put it together, so some of the stuff's still kind of rough, but it's all actual work that ran. So I was able to replace all my student work in 3 years, which is pretty good. But otherwise, I mean, up until this past year, I probably would have still had student work in there. I mean, 3 years isn't to replace your entire book isn't. That's kind of fast. So, but that's it.
What about when you replace like your student work and whatnot? Considering like I don't know how many print campaigns you would do for Vegas, but do you replace like print campaigns with something
with TV?
With TV spots?
It's weird. I've been thinking. That's actually something I've been thinking about because this is the kind of first time I'm going to put my stuff out there, having all this stuff. So like, my reel basically has 10 spots, but I'm not going to put all these spots on there because it's just a little bit too much work. I mean, that's 10 spots, 30. That's 3. That's however many minutes or whatever people watching this crap. But then also you have to print. Like the thing is with two of these campaigns. So like your Vegas is showing these print ads here. There was a microsite, a pretty big built-out microsite that went with it that's integrated. And so in my book, I've just got a quick snapshot of a couple, screen grabs of this thing, and just really like one-line explanation of what this is. Obviously, the biggest thing now is just to have a website that has all your work on it, student or not. Every print ad's on there, and if you've got, if you've got like a flash piece, throw that on there too. But like for me, I'm just going to link out to these microsites and let people go play with them as they want. We also did one for the Devil Angel spot. So this is kind of going to kind of integrated stuff. This is an outdoor thing we did. So for the Devil Angel spot, we actually had a print ad. We had a print ad in Maxim that printed like this. It's basically this declaration of free will in Vegas. But then we also had a microsite where you could go and send like a message from the devil or an angel, kind of trying to coax your friend to come to Vegas, or you could personalize it with your own message. And so like this is like, so in my book, I would just have this, and I would link to the, on my website, I'd link to like a quick time of the TV spot. And this would just be a link. It would have a couple screen grabs, but it'll just be a link to the microsite so they can just go play with it themselves, because that's going to give them a better representation. But if they don't have time, at least they have a quick look of what it is. But that's, so this is all blown off of one spot. I mean, we don't come up with some crazy integrated thing for an entire round of What Happens Here Stays Here. We're only going to blow out one spot maybe. So this was a spot we blew out, print, online. We had some radio. We had a sweepstakes. Some of that stuff Your Vegas is showing. We did print, TV, online, radio, sweepstakes.
You did an event. You did the party.
We did the parties. Yeah. We partnered with GQ where we had some Your Vegas showing parties where basically we kind of brought Vegas to Chicago, LA, New York for a night. We partnered with that movie 21. and we actually took, I should have brought those spots. We actually took some of the footage from their movie and cut some of them together and tagged it Your Vegas to show it, because there was some scenes from the movie that just like immediately, like there was a scene where he like wakes up and picks up the phone and asks for room service, but then he kind of wakes up and realizes he's still at MIT. I don't know if you guys seen the movie or whatever, but so he thinks he's in Vegas still, but really he's back in college. And you just tag that Your Vegas showing. So we kind of cut all these things and we tag them with that. So actually there's those things out there too. So it's just trying to figure out. One thing we wanted to do with this free will stuff that we didn't get a chance to is we wanted to produce these poker chips. One side would be like a devil, one side would be an angel, and both sides, it's kind of like the whole coin flip thing, and both sides would say do it. And we wanted to print them and have them in Maxim, but it was going to cost like $1.5 million just to produce the poker chips, and then you've got the media buy and all that stuff. And my partner and I were really pissed about that, because that would have been a great one, but can't always do what you want.
But you could comp that up then yourself,
yeah, I can
and
comp
put
it
it
up
in
for
your
my
book.
own book. Yeah, totally. Actually, I think I did. I actually did comp up the poker chip to try to sell it through the clients. So that's a good idea.
Yeah. But like, so when you got this assignment, were there specific deliverables, or did you kind of take it in these different directions yourself, like on your own?
Well, on this one, like, so to get into the way our agency works, it's not a huge agency. I mean, our office, we have like office in Phoenix and Salt Lake and Reno and Vegas. Vegas is the big one. It's like 150 people, 175 people. But our creative department is small for the size of this client. There is maybe 5 teams and a couple designers, and that's it. You know, so that's 10 creatives. And honestly, they've recently kind of restructured our department so that people are responsible for just individual clients. And so there's only 2 teams on the whole Vegas account, which is works with my partner and I to death, but it's good for us because we get to work on, you know, the best client or whatever. But for what happens here, stays here, the way they do it is they'll open it up to the entire agency. So any office, any creative from any office, even if they're not creative, like my boss has fielded scripts from, you know, account people, from some guy in research wrote one time. But I mean, they don't always, he still says only the best ones get through. We still have yet to produce one that a non-creative wrote. But actually, the Pearly Gates spot, I actually worked with a writer in Salt Lake on that spot. But they open this up, so there's this big gangbang for everybody trying to get What Happens Here Stays Here spots. So they open up the account, or the thing, and like, I mean, my partner and I will write 150, 200 scripts just for one year's round of What Happens Here Stays Here. And so will all the other teams. My creative director boils that down to about 80 scripts out of, you know, 800 or something, and then he takes it to basically our kind of chief creative officer, and the 2 of them kind of narrow it down to about 20. Those go to testing, and then testing kind of narrows it down to, you know, 5 or 6. Client kind of gives their nod, and then we go and produce them. But one thing my partner and I have started to do is when we come up with a concept, we try to figure out how it might blow out. So for Free Will, we came up with this idea. We knew it was going to be a tough sell because it's the devil and running around Vegas imposing his will or whatever. So we wanted to kind of help sell it. So we came up with how this can blow out into print, online. We even came up with sweepstakes. I mean, we hate sweepstakes, but we still came up with one because we know they want to do it. And that did help sell it through because they realized that it could be a little bit bigger than not. And so honestly, anytime you have an idea, whether it's a print ad or an outdoor board or a TV spot, if it's a good idea, it's usually a good idea just in general, and it'll probably carry over into other places, and that's really a good place to take it. I mean, I still think I don't even do that enough, where like, we did this campaign, and then this got kind of turned over to another team, and then they've done some really cool guerrilla things with this campaign that, I mean, we never even considered even the idea of doing some of the stuff that they're doing. So it's like, you could even take somebody else's idea, you know, and start blowing off of that. So it's just really kind of, and sometimes you can even start going down one direction and you realize it's going to be a better idea for print than it would be for TV anyway, you know. And so it's just kind of, once you get the concept down and what the good idea is, it's just seeing what the best way to fit that is.